Coming up, a lion pride shows off their teeth. We check out muddy mangrove crabs and explore an amazing coral reef.
We find the pride all lying up way to the south of their territory in a big open plain, all lazing around and slowly start rousing themselves. It looks like they're about to get moving. They've obviously eaten recently, their bellies are full, and there's no real reason for them to get particularly active yet. Both big males are with the pride today. The females start becoming active. One of the males sniffs the spot where the female has urinated and purses his lips back in a grimace in an action known as phlegmon. He's testing her scent for reproductive status. He draws a scent into his mouth and sucks it back into his Jacobson's organs located on the top of the back of his palate. They always do this with the females, and also when scenting other lions. He moves off and limps across to join the rest of the pride. This male's been limping for some time now and doesn't seem to be healing as quickly as one would have thought. The cubs all start moving out to join the adults, and one young female, funnily enough, mounts one of her brothers. It's not quite sure what is going on there, but it's brief, and she approaches one of the females who really doesn't want much to do with her. All the time the lions continue to show signs of getting active. The yawning and the communal grooming always normally signs that they're about to get moving. The young males in the pride are starting to show the first signs of developing a mane. As the sun begins to set and pushes through the far horizon clouds, the lions remain all on the open plain.
The Beechwood Mangrove Swamp at the mouth of the Umgeni River. Thousands of aerial pencil roots sprouted out of the swamp, allowing the white mangrove trees access to oxygen. We noticed there was some life in the form of tiny crabs. One of them seemed to be trying to find a home in a climbing whelk shell. In the summer, these banks had been swarming in claw-waving multitudes, but now we'd wait on the estuary banks for hours before we'd see anything. and then suddenly we'd see these tiny crabs ranging from an inch in diameter to mere millimeters. Amongst the crabs we found mud skippers, which from a distance are barely distinguishable from the mud. Because they have no tear ducts, they roll their eyes back into their sockets to keep them moist. Away from the water, further into the dense, mostly black mangrove forest, we found these much larger red mangrove crabs collecting the bright yellow leaves that littered the forest floor. They were tentative leaving their holes, obviously because of predators, but once they had grasped the leaf, they then scurried back into their holes at speed.
Heading out to La Digue is a real treat and quite an adventure because the eastern side of the island has the most amazing beaches. Real picture postcard strips of white sand, big boulders lining each side of the beach, and of course the beautiful crystal clear blue water. Going under, it was quite dramatic. The shark rocks, granite spires protruding upwards, drifting up the face of the granite, the odd bit of coral growing healthily, and the backdrop of these very steep, jagged bits of rock that reach towards the surface. Here's a different type of coral. This one was quite big, covering quite a large area. The topography is very varied here, and here's a huge boulder, probably the size of a house, and it was grooved in almost a symmetrical fashion. Swimming around it, looking up, this is obviously ages and ages of the water surging up and down the face of this boulder, having worn away these softer grooves in the rock. At the foot of some of these pinnacles were canyons that one could swim through quite easily. And the scale of these slots in the reef are bigger than you can imagine watching this. And drifting around the base of this rock, one comes across big shoals of the yellow snappers and the flame goatfish that colonize these shadowy areas. All the shaded parts of the rock had turret coral growing quite prolifically. A batfish sauntering through the crevice. And the snapper retreating into the depths as the ever-present kingfish do their rounds up above. They seem to be resident, and while these two were in the region of 8 or 9 kilograms, they must really wreak havoc amongst the little fish that live on the reef here.